That's what we're all
that's
about.
great.
All right, the long night begins. Doodly 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 doo. Ah, we are live. All right, hello. Welcome everybody to the award-winning filmmaker live stream. I'm your award-winning filmmaker, Lord Wolfshield. We did a little bit of a rebranding, so I guess the show now we're going to be calling it Bad Optics. Because our last name was Bad Optics, so now I decided that would be a good name, I guess. I think Hyrith was kind of concerned with the initials BO, so I guess we're gonna call it like Bad
Bop.
Optics with Peeps.
We're gonna call it Bop.
Yeah, so Bad Optics with Peeps. So that's what we're going with. Anyway, so yes, and I have my amazing co-host with me, Hyrith. Introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me as your co-host, and I'm Hyrith. Happy to be here. Excited to get started.
Excited for a deeply intellectual show today.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a few Hungarian poems lined up.
Hey, shut up. I haven't introduced you yet, bro.
Oh,
okay.
I'm not here yet.
Okay, so this is also a very special show because not only do we have one award-winning filmmaker, we have two award-winning filmmakers. I mean, some of us on the panel are a little more award-winning than the others, but let's not hold that against him. Joshua Lindberg.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm the second best filmmaker here.
Exactly.
Maybe the third best, to be honest. But
I've never made any films, so you're the second best.
But
your potential is there.
I mean, like, yeah, exactly. The potential. It's like I think he still might be third best.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm here too.
Nice. Very glad to have you with us. I'm excited to have like an actual filmmaker on, so an artist, and we're going to be presenting. Actually, we're going to be just playing Joshua's movie Journey with Josh over and over for 3 hours.
Oh no!
No, I'm just kidding. He hates that movie and he won't let me play it, even though it's like one of my favorite of his movies. But everybody go and like watch that before he privates it or whatever.
Oh, that's a good idea. Hold on.
No, don't private. It's a great movie. But anyway, we'll be playing one of your movies a little bit later. But yeah, before we do that, let's get into some movie news. Let's see here. What do we got here? Okay, gonna start us off with some very important news. Well, for me anyway, because so George Lucas is apparently going to be writing a couple episodes on this new Star Wars show called Andor. I guess it's like did you guys ever see Rogue One?
No.
Oh my god. Well, it was like a movie that was set just before Star Wars Episode 4. It was about like have you guys seen like Star Wars, like the first one? Do you guys know what Star Wars is? This like, are you guys like Jeff? Do I have to explain what Star Wars is to you?
Yeah. It's like the it's kind of like it's like Star Trek.
Yes, it's like
I'm
that.
Just kidding.
Not like that
I've seen the old ones.
I saw the old ones and then the prequels.
Do you like Rogue One, Wolfshield?
It was okay, but I'm excited about this. So so Rogue One takes place before Episode 4, and this show takes place before Rogue One. So that means that George Lucas is writing more Star Wars prequels. Woo!
That is so confusing.
I mean, it's technically a Star Wars prequel, so
it's a Schmidt-quill.
But the timeline is like a zigzag for when they make these films.
Doesn't matter. More Star Wars prequels, and that's always a great thing.
That's good though.
Right.
It's like the Zeitgeist did like a 360 on George Lucas, which is pretty
It
interesting.
really did.
We need him back.
We do. No, I'm super excited about that. So this is I saw this, and George Lucas was essentially saying that if you didn't like the Star Wars prequel dialogue, you just didn't understand it. He did it on purpose, like cheesy on purpose. So Hyrith and Mama BTFO.
Base.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. That dialogue was awful.
Well, it's relatable because sand is pretty troublesome. Gets everywhere.
Oh man, no, I yeah, okay. Anyway, we'll move on. So I also saw this. This is some movie news I'm not excited about. Apparently,
John
John
Carpenter. He
thinking
makes
about
great films.
bringing his obnoxious self back into the movie scene to make more terrible movies, I guess. Boo!
I like
Mama's
John Carpenter.
Mama's
films.
in the chat going boo about more Star Wars prequels, but I'm going boo about more John Carpenter movies.
We're gonna talk about They Live Tonight instead of Faust.
Yeah, except we aren't
it's
though.
got that vibe. That's where we're gonna go.
I did write down like a comparison to They Live in my notes actually, but I'll get to that later. Yeah, so yeah, just stay retired, dude. Just let M. Night Shyamalan, take
No.
All right, so apparently there's talk of a Donnie Darko sequel, like an official one anyway, that the actual writer director of the first one, Richard Kelly, is going to make. There was did you guys watch? First of all, have you seen the first one, like the original Donnie Darko?
Yes.
I have not.
What? It's like weird and dumb. I would think it'd be like right up your alley, dude.
Hey.
I didn't see Rogue One either.
Yeah, but that movie was just bad. No, actually, I really liked Donnie Darko. It was sort of like a movie that I haven't seen it for many, many years. I think it was a movie that I watched when I first started discovering film.
Mm-hmm.
You know that like when you go from watching movies to watching film, it's like, ooh, this is art. This is what movies are really about.
It was a very artsy film. It was really popular at the time when I first saw it, and I wanted to like it. And I guess it was effective in the sense that it just gives you a really weird mood throughout. And afterwards, you're just kind of like, yeah, that doesn't I don't feel great after watching that,
Yeah.
I did that with that movie Control that came out about Ian Curtis, and then I wore button-up shirts every day for about 4 years.
I haven't seen that.
I've
That's
never
a good
heard
movie.
of this.
Maybe I should watch it so I know what you're talking about.
Let's stop this review and watch it right now. We'll be back in a couple hours, folks.
All right.
Okay. But no, there was actually a sequel. It was called S. Darko. It was like the younger sister. She goes and does weird stuff for no reason, and it was terrible. But I'd be curious what a sequel would be like. But yeah, so yeah, I saw this. Apparently, Stanley Kubrick's daughter is kind of based. Yeah. I saw this article. I'm like, oh, she's tweeting anti-Semitic memes. I was like, ayo, hold up, based. But of course, it's just something stupid, talking about the globalists or whatever. I'm like, oh, disappointing.
Yeah, she said she likes a Stanley Kubrick movie, and they called her an extremist or something.
Wait,
she probably tweeted about Clockwork Orange or Barry Lyndon or something, and got labeled far right.
Well, no, she is pretty far right. I guess she's a big fan of the Proud Boys, and I guess she's into the QAnon stuff, which is, that's just a whole situation in of itself. I feel like the QAnon people, they're on the right track, but so far off track also. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting.
So close yet so far.
Because the QAnon, I feel like when it comes to QAnon, I think a lot of people, they think of that of the movie Eyes Wide Shut. I think like with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff and whatnot, like everybody, like their mind immediately kind of goes to Eyes Wide Shut and like, ooh, what's going on here? Like, is there some sort of like connection here that Stanley Kubrick's daughter is so like into this stuff? I don't know, but
Well, honestly, like that sort of conspiratorial mindset kind of runs deep through the Kubrick movies. Like people will watch like The Shining and like think the whole thing's about like the moon landing and stuff like that. So maybe there's some sort of mental illness that runs in the family.
well, or maybe the movie was like actually like Eyes Wide Shut. Maybe, and yes, Horse. Yes, I know Kubrick was Jewish. Yes, I know that. But that's why I'm thinking like maybe Kubrick would, I don't know, like have some like knowledge about like the connections to sort of what's going on behind the scenes. But of course, there's always the question of like, are people sort of filling in? Like we know the Jeffrey Epstein stuff is happening, but we don't know like the full extent of it. And are people sort of filling in like in their imagination based off of watching Eyes Wide Shut? Or did Eyes Wide Shut actually like kind of get at something? It's a good question. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, yeah. So Vivian Kubrick, she was actually the little girl from 2001: A Space Odyssey during that one scene where Hayward is talking to her in the beginning. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But I was thinking, it's like, why would like, but like if like I was kind of wonder, uh, like with the Eyes Wide Shut thing, it's like, why would you sort of like make that into like a movie? But then I was thinking about how like, I don't know, they just like put like skeezy stuff from behind the scenes in their movies. I was thinking about how in Toy Story 2 they actually recently deleted this scene from Toy Story 2 on Disney Plus, in which there was like during the end credits. Do you guys remember like the end credits? Like they used to do these like fake
Oh yeah.
what like like gag reels or whatever, where they were messing up or whatever.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
had this scene where like essentially like who was the bad guy in that?
Oh
Pete, Stinky Pete or whatever, and
oh yeah.
he was like talking to these Barbies, and he was saying like essentially like he was doing like the casting couch bit, about
Oh, that old bit.
yeah, like
What the
I'm
heck?
just like, what the fuck? Like, why? How the fuck did this happen? Like this, like terrible like Harvey Weinstein thing that's going on behind the scenes. They just made like as a joke in a kids movie. So I don't know. I don't know how
What?
the fuck
I didn't
this.
know that.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. Like I don't. So that's why I'm saying there might be some truth to the Eyes Wide Shut situation. Uh, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. We can move past. Speaking of evil things going on in Hollywood, so apparently there is talk of a Evil Dead 4, or well, I guess
Really?
it's going to start filming this year with Bruce Campbell,
Oh.
which I'm
Was he in
excited
the third
about.
one?
Well, the third one was Army of Darkness. It
Okay,
was
I'm thinking of the new Evil Dead film, the one that was
yeah.
not. I
That
didn't like
sort
that
of, it
one.
was like a remake, and it was like
Yeah.
so like over the top violent and serious, and it was just
Yeah, they just totally ruined it.
it was pretty lame. Like I enjoy Army of Darkness the most. Is it kind of struck the right tone between like just
Me
like
too. Yeah.
silliness and horror, which is, I think I kind of tried to
Hmm.
capture that tone with my horror movie, my award-winning horror film.
I think
uh,
you did really well. That's why you won an award for
and
it.
it was interesting because Mama, after she watched it for the first time during the live stream, she actually mentioned that it had a Sam Raimi vibe. So I was actually kind of pleased
Yeah.
that she picked up on that.
I,
So
I
I mean,
I was gonna
yeah,
say, yeah, the second one's probably the best one. There was because it's the funniest.
I thought the third one was the funniest.
Oh, well, I think I just like the cabin vibe. The third one's like pretty big scale with the, skeleton army and stuff. That's cool too. It's a pretty close tie.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I thought he had like a show too,
there was a show, Ash versus the Evil Dead. That was pretty funny. But I'm curious to see like shows. It's like you can only go so far with a budget with a show, and I also just like only watched the first season. It's just like, ugh, like I can't watch.
Have you seen Bubba Hotep?
No, I haven't seen that one.
I bet Jeff's seen that. Yeah, that's that one's about Elvis in a. It's Bruce Campbell, and he plays decrepit old Elvis living in a nursing home who never died, and him and JFK, who's an old black guy in a wheelchair, they have to battle with a mummy who sucks people's souls out of their butts. It's a pretty good movie.
Well,
heck of Gab's seen it. They get it.
Yeah, it might be good. I mean, Bruce Campbell's pretty funny, so
sounds interesting. I think I'll let other people tell me about that one. That's fine.
Oh man. So nobody picked that one for Bop.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Speaking of Bruce Campbell, apparently he was teasing a cameo in Doctor Strange 2, which is being directed by Sam Raimi, and that was my introduction to Bruce Campbell, was his little cameos in the Spider-Man movies. So it'd be cool to have another little cameo like he did in the Spider-Man films. I'd like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is kind of old news, I guess, at this point, but remember that Wall Street business?
Oh yeah.
I think Hyrith, you were
like a few weeks ago. Yeah, I remember.
I think it was longer than a few weeks ago.
No, it was longer than that. I think it was, I don't know, a month ago.
Was it really just a month ago?
Well, maybe the days are weeks now.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
it feels
I
so
don't
much
know.
longer than that.
Yeah. If you haven't gotten kicked off Twitter yet, you're still on Twitter time, which it's like dog years or something. I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know. I was always kind of skeptical about how this is really beneficial to anyone. Like the whole, GameStop stocks things. It just seemed like it was, I don't know, just the same old with different people. You seem kind of into it, but I'm seeing like Netflix is making a movie out of it. I'm just like,
oh okay. Gosh, of course they are. No, it's not that I was into, or I don't. It's not
excited about it or whatever.
Well, I don't think that people should be relying on the stock market, because obviously I'm not pro capitalism. So I think that the stock market is very globalist. To use the term globalist that you hate so much.
No, we're gonna get kicked off of D-Line.
But for me, what the GameStop thing initially showed was that people were waking up. They're losing trust, and they're losing faith in the system, and they're losing faith in the elites and the people that are running our countries. And that's that was the whole thing about it. That's why initially I was on board with it. But
I think
but then it just
people kind of had the feeling that ooh, we're pulling one over on the big Wall Street people. But I don't know, it just seems like
they did.
It's just other rich people getting rich instead of the other rich people, and then so it's they're making a Netflix movie about it. And then there was the Jordan Belfort guy made a video encouraging the GameStop traders. I'm just this just all seems just fake and gay. But
yeah, well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it all is.
Yes.
I think the original heart of the matter was people were trying to sabotage these rich hedge fund guys or whatever, and give money back to the little guy. And so it was kind of like a redistribution of wealth in that way. But then it just obviously it was hijacked and taken over, and it just became, now it's like a parody of what it originally started as. So it's, hey, there's parody on the screen. There you go.
What is what parody? What?
Parody
yes.
on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Mama says we have no idea what I'm talking about, and yeah, that's you. I mean, she's definitely right.
That's fair.
She's not wrong at all. I have literally no idea about anything ever. But yeah, so I saw this, and it's like I want to get excited about this. Apparently, there's like a Harry Potter TV series in the works, but it's just like it's probably going to be terrible. There's probably going to have like trannies all over it and everything. It's just, I don't know. I want to get excited, but maybe it might be somewhat okay. You guys probably don't care about Harry Potter that much, but
yeah, I can imagine that it's going to be pretty woke and potentially satanic. So I'm not really into it. The old ones are pretty fun though. I like. I'll just keep watching those.
Yeah, that's true. It's like they can never take away the older movies from us. At least that's good anyway. But yeah, I also
Well,
with the whole
is Harry Potter going to be African? Because obviously, if he's not, then that's just racist.
I think they were saying they were trying to get Daniel Radcliffe to come back and a bunch of the original cast, but I mean that's I guess one reason to kind of get excited about is always getting the original cast back is always kind of exciting, but
well, yeah, Rowling keeps like editing her book in post, so to speak, right? Like she did say Hermione's black, right? So I'm sure there's other changes she's made.
She said that she wasn't specifically defined as to what race, even though that's not true at all.
I got you. See, I don't have my finger on the Rowling pulse. I'm sorry.
But yeah, with the whole J.K. Rowling row, there was very few people coming to defend her. I guess Hagrid did. We talked about that 2 months ago. Jeez Louise. But I guess just recently, the guy who played Voldemort also kind of came out in support of J.K. Rowling. I don't know. I think that probably means that neither of them are coming back for the show. Well, I guess Voldemort couldn't come back really, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of sad that like so few people are willing to kind of stand up and support her, but oh well. Yeah, but like I had speaking of like another show that I was kind of excited about that I was kind of nervous about how they were gonna do it. I was like, did you guys hear about this WandaVision show?
No.
No.
No, what's that?
I keep seeing stuff for it.
Are you guys familiar with like the Marvel universe and like the characters of like Wanda and Vision and whatever?
Not really. No.
Absolutely not.
Well, I guess I don't know. They're two comic book characters and they have like a relationship in this series, but they made like a little mini series for Disney Plus that was actually very good. I actually enjoyed it quite a lot. It was one of the best things I've seen in a while. And I was kind of worried because like as you can see like from this screenshot here, it was kind of like like the first episode is like this kind of like 1950s sort of like old like style type.
It reminds
thing.
me of Bewitched.
Yeah, exactly. I mean that's
I used to love that show.
It was drawing like each episode kind of drew inspiration from like a different decade. So like the first episode was like 1950s sitcoms and then 60s sitcoms and 70s sitcoms. And it kind of went through all the decades up to the 2000s. And I was kind of worried when I saw the trailer for it. I'm like, oh god, are they gonna like make this super subversive and like make the like this traditional relationship like super bad or whatever? But it was actually very good. It was surprisingly like good and surprisingly very
wholesome.
wholesome and true to the tone. And I guess like I saw this article, I thought it was kind of interesting. I guess Dick Van Dyke gave the director a lot of advice on how to capture the tone for the first couple episodes. I think they really tried to actually make a meaningful homage and not like subverting this sort of traditionalism. And I don't know, I liked it. It was like
That's good.
it was a white couple, and they got married and they had kids, and I don't know, it was pretty wholesome. I enjoyed it. Yeah. But anyway, so I saw this. Did you guys ever watch the first Cloverfield movie?
Yes.
Yes.
What did you guys think?
This is all right.
I liked it. Actually, I liked was it 10 Cloverfield Lane? Was that part of that?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's super different, but
it's the
yeah,
same
it's
world, right?
Yeah, it is.
What they did was there was like they would take other scripts that were made, and they just slapped the Cloverfield name on it, and they're like, oh, it's an anthology type series now, so like come watch this movie that probably nobody would have gone to see if it didn't have the Cloverfield name on it. But yeah,
John Goodman was so good in that.
that movie was
Goodman
amazing.
good.
That was actually a lot better than the original Cloverfield movie. But I did really enjoy
thought so too.
I really did enjoy the Cloverfield movie. But I guess they're making a sequel, and I guess they won't be making it a found footage movie. And I'm just like, I mean, like, why? I mean, it's not like without the found footage sort of gimmick, it's like, oh, wow, another monster tearing a big city apart movie. That's wonderful. And it's like just do another found footage movie. Like they even set it up in the first one that there could be like another found footage situation going on. I don't know if you probably don't remember, but there was this scene where like the guy's like in this crowd, and at some point he's like panning, and then there's another guy with a camera, and they both like point each other's like cameras at each other for like a second, and then like he continues panning on. So they kind of put that.
Doesn't a lot of stuff get like blown up at the end of the first one or something?
I think it's
I'm like, how would people have cameras after that? Why would they even be filming? They probably think everyone else is gone. So they're like, I'm like the last living group of people. Why would we be filming for other people that don't exist, sort of thing?
I think there was like some sort of implication that they just like bombed the whole area to get rid of the
that's
monster.
what it was.
They should make one that's unfound footage, and it's just a black screen for 2 hours.
Mama's wondering what that is. That's that picture. That's the head of the Liberty Bell.
Oh,
yeah. She thought it was like a bug or something.
I did too.
Yeah. So anyway, this story, not that like Paul W. Anderson. I don't know. Are you guys familiar with Paul W. Anderson? He's basically like a really bad director.
Yes, I am familiar.
No, I'm not.
He does like the Resident Evil movies and like other schlock or whatever.
He did Mortal Kombat. I just looked it up. That's a good movie in like a terrible way. Right, that's awful. It's an awful movie.
Yeah, all of it. I guess he did this like Three Musketeers movie that was kind of fun. Yeah. But I saw this. I thought it was. What are you laughing at? Are you laughing at me?
I'm laughing at Awaiting Dawn, laughing at you in the chat because he said it was the head of the Liberty,
Liberty Bell. I meant the Statue of Liberty. Whatever. Yeah. Okay, but I just saw this. I thought that was kind of cool that because like Paul W. Anderson always puts his wife Mila Jovovich like as like the lead in all of his movies. I don't know, or at least a big part. I don't know. I just kind of like that. Like I don't know what this movie is about, and I probably won't watch it. But I dig that. I dig that like a director like cares about his wife, so much. And it has that sort of connection instead of like just being like a sleaze bag who's sleeping with. I mean, who knows? We don't really know the backstory, but it seems that he cares about her and isn't like trying to sleep with all the stars of the movie. I mean, like I said, I don't know, but I like that. I like that a lot. It's just a little bit of wholesomeness, in the terrible Hollywood, system.
True.
Does anybody have anything?
Big if true.
Yeah. But anyway, we have, speaking of directors who put their wives in movies, we have a movie we're gonna play by Senor Lindbergh.
We're gonna play? Oh, cool.
Yeah, in lieu of I usually do like a trailer reaction, but in lieu of that, I'm gonna play a movie by Lindbergh. And
Awesome.
yeah, so this is my favorite of Lindbergh's films. Let's see here. Here we go. And his cool wife, Katie, is also in this. She's very cool. I got to hang out with them, and yeah, all right. So we'll just oh no, I think I didn't hit the button.
Oh.
No.
Amateur.
I know.
It's
You
better
didn't
with
check the box. What are
I
you
didn't
thinking?
check my box. Okay, let's see. Round 2. Uh-oh. I think I clicked out of it. Dang it. I got it. No, here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
Oh, okay.
All right, everybody. Here is a Lindbergh joint, if you will. Can everybody hear it? Can you guys hear it?
Yes, I can hear it.
Okay. Have you ever seen this one, Hireth?
No, I haven't.
I think he's awake.
Good morning.
Maybe we should get him a drink.
I can handle that. You can go home.
Do you have anything stronger?
Ask and you shall receive.
The Lord is my helper. I shall look upon my enemies.
Yay! That was awesome. I hadn't seen that one before.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, Dino
it's
did a good job. Kind of
basically repeating in everything that was said in the chat and narrating everything that happens. That was
Very
funny.
helpful.
for the blind, or no, for the vision. No, who would that be for? No one really. Anyway, yeah. So could you? I know you like to be all cryptic and mystical and like, ooh, I'm above it all. Like, could you like explain a little bit of that movie though? Like what the F is going on in this movie?
Dude, I'm not above anything, but I'll
Tell us what you really think, Lord Wolfshield.
No, I'm not sorry. I think that came off. What I meant by that was like you know, you like to kind of leave things up.
Yeah.
You don't like to explain your movies.
Well, why don't you tell me what you think it is about?
Well, okay, here's my interpretation. There's a dude chilling on the ice, and he gets brought to a house, and there's a demon bird lady, and the end. That's my interpretation.
Can I give you my interpretation?
Yes.
Sure.
Me next. Okay, so she is like the devil, basically. She's Satan, or like, just evil incarnate, pretty much. And he is, I guess he's man who walks with God, and the lantern is supposed to represent the divine, so God. and got the light of God and that sort of thing. And so at the end, he holds it up and he's like, basically, I forget what he says exactly, but he's, he says something really powerful, and then, and then it ends up being the dress on the floor because he conquered evil, right?
Yes, you got it. Yeah.
So
Yep.
okay, but like, what's up with like the hermit? Who's the hermit? Is somebody a hermit in this? 'Cause it didn't seem like anybody was really a hermit in this.
So I based it on a bunch of disparate things that have hermit like characters in it. If you actually look at Hieronymus Bosch's painting, his triptych, the temptation of Saint Anthony, it's basically that in movie form. But I also based it on other hermit characters like Diogenes with his lantern. I kind of tried to give that a sort of They Live kind of vibe. I know how much you like that. And I was trying to make like a low scale sort of version of that story on like a Signs or Nosferatu kind of level. Just
Yeah. I did like the M. Night Shyamalan vibes. I think. That was
I thought you
a big part of it.
That was all for you, Lord Wolfshield.
Yeah.
But I thought it was awesome. Yeah, it was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really like you have a real eye for cinema, like cinematic shots and stuff like that. Your movies are very, very pleasant to look at.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really nice space to use, and I got to use the space exactly as it's laid out and kind of play with that, which is kind of cool. Just kind of hung out in that area and thought about it, and I was like, what can happen here? And kind of made it work. The stairs and stuff.
Indeed. Do you have anything else you want to say about that, or do you want to move
Absolutely
on?
not. No, you guys can just keep complimenting me though. That's totally fine.
All right. Yeah. No,
Lord Wolfshield's like, enough of that.
I'm
enough
trying
of
to think.
that.
I'm trying to think of like another. I wanted to compliment your beard also. It was a nice. It was a nice Amish sort of facial hair thing going on also.
Yeah. I like shaved like
The old
and I was
beard
like, oh.
/ no mustache combo.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's a young acolyte, that hermit. No grizzly beard.
Yes, and also like the Wizborg. That's like a reference to Nosferatu or something like that.
Yeah, that's where that takes place.
Yeah, and like, so like, why is he just chilling on the ice? And like, who is this guy that picks him up?
That's actually those are two enigmatic mysteries. No, I'm kidding. The him lying on the ice was supposed to imply that he's had similar spiritual battles and lost. And the character that helps him is supposed to be a little more. It's kind of grounded. I was kind of going for the like what are they called, like the woodcutter in the old fairy tales kind of vibe, but also potentially something supernatural, which I won't say. I'm already saying too much, but yeah, kind of that, like a supernatural figure.
Nice.
Gotcha. Yeah,
That's awesome.
but yeah, I think definitely the movie we're about to talk about, you can definitely see a lot of influence on your style, like just like from the very first shots of the movie with all like the editing and whatnot. Like that's definitely, I could see that definitely had a huge influence on you. Just like all these like quick shots of different things with the opera music in the background or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is I already said Nosferatu. This is probably it's probably tied for the second biggest influence. Which is great because I know you're going to give it like a 3 out of 10.
I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely like the he has a very good eye for like music video kind of editing, where you kind of sync with the action with the music and do the quick cuts with it. So,
all right. So why don't we introduce the movie that we're talking about? This is kind of this was a very cool experience for me because I actually got to watch this movie with Lindbergh himself at his house.
Cool.
I showed up at his house and he locked the door and he pulled out a gun and he's like, "You ain't going nowhere till you watch this whole movie."
yeah, that actually happened.
That so did not happen.
Yeah, no, but like I wanted to, like when I went there, like I wanted to get like the full Lindbergh experience, and so I wanted to watch a movie of his that was like, because I knew he had like 4 like all-time favorite movies, and I had seen 2 of them. One was just like a movie with just like water and like boring music or whatever, and then there was what was that one called? What was it called?
It was I'm gonna say it wrong because it's Icelandic. Heima, or
Oh, okay.
Heima. It's the Sigur Rós movie where they tour around Iceland, and it's lots of pretty shots of water and mountains and stuff and people.
And then the other one
That
was
sounds nice. Actually, I've never seen that. I should watch it.
You should.
yeah. And then Nosferatu was also your favorite, and then Faust was another one. So we decided to watch that one, and yeah, that was quite the experience. But it was really fun because I made fun of the movie the whole time, and Lindbergh was like kind of half-heartedly trying to defend the movie the whole time. It was a fun experience. But yeah, so take it away, Lindbergh. What tell us about this movie and why you love it so much.
Okay. So this movie was made in 1994 by Mr. Jan Schwankmeyer, and if you don't want to say that, you can just call him
Schwankmeyer, more like
Schwanky.
Wankmeyer.
He is a surrealist. He's a self-defined surrealist. And that comes with all the subversiveness you would think it would, though I think he's interestingly kind of, I don't know, somewhere in this super abstract realm where it doesn't really matter. And I can get into that later. But he made like 27 short films and 5, I think, maybe 6 feature-length films. He just retired like last year.
Now he's known for doing a lot of like claymation, stop motion type stuff, right? Like that's what a lot of his the short films were.
Yeah.
Right? Or yeah, I didn't watch any of them, but I think that's
I probably will look those up, to be honest.
Yeah, you'll love them. You really will. They're probably, well, I could, get all geeky and stuff, but the short films are kind of why I make short films, his particular short films. I don't simulate his style one for one in a pretty weird way, but yeah, the short films I'd recommend. This is my favorite of his feature-length films. He also has a really weird version of Alice in Wonderland that you'd probably like.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, yeah. But this is my favorite because it's kind of like, we'll talk about it, why it's so heady and stuff, but because it's so heady. But this his version of Faust, I have an essay he wrote about it. If you want me to pull a conversation with the wind on it.
I wish I could have read that. I was trying to find information on it. Are you going to read that?
I could.
If you can like find some, like read, interesting sections of it. Yeah, that'd be cool. Because I couldn't find like hardly any information to read. Mostly I was like looking.
Sorry.
I was like trying to read up on it, but I couldn't find anything. I started just like reading reviews on IMDb, and like every review was basically nothing makes sense, but it's amazing. I'm like, wow, that's just
it does make sense in a weird way, but it was. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. So I can explain the movie. The story Faust, you probably know. There's 2 famous versions of that. There's from Christopher Marlowe and then old Goethe. I think this is more based on the Marlowe version, but it's about a guy who's kind of into philosophy and. Go ahead.
It's about Columbo, and he's trying to solve the mystery of why this movie exists.
Yeah, it is a mystery, but yeah, this guy's into philosophy and stuff. In the original story, his friends who are kind of like into like magic and stuff help him summon a servant of Lucifer, who he basically sells his soul to in order to experience all the wonders and pleasures of earthly life. And Schwanke's basic way he's playing with this, well, there's a few really neat things he's doing, but his basic thing that he's doing is making an everyman story where kind of like a lot of stories like Job or Faust, you can kind of say are about everybody. He's kind of playing with that pretty hard and saying that like everybody has to make this choice in life. So the main character, pretty bland dude.
Because when he because he like, you know, he goes to this building because there's like these guys handing out these maps, and you know, he goes there, and then there's like a guy running out just as he's walking in. And then I think like the implication obviously is that whatever Faust goes through in that movie happened before with this guy, and then there's like another guy that comes in right after he leaves at the end. So it's like all these different people kind of going through the same thing.
Yeah, and you kind of learn that when it happens at the end, right? So it's kind of neat. It's one of those movies you want to rewatch so you can like see all the things he's saying with the different images and stuff. He's really good at making like images that kind of make you think. And it's weird. And there's tons of stop motion and really neat sort of magic he's doing with the movie that we could talk about too. But that's basically what the movie's about.
Yeah. I actually I listened to an audio version of Faust last year when I was like listening to a ton of audiobooks, and I listened to it right around the time when I listened to Frankenstein, and I drew a lot of similarities between those two stories, and I love the story of Faust. So I didn't know anything about this movie other than what it's based on. And I wasn't sure what version he was going to go with, because I know there's two different versions of the story with two different endings. And I'm really glad that he went with the version that he went with. Because to me, Faust is a cautionary tale, you know?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. It's a very cynical feeling movie, but as cynical as Frankie might be trying to be, you know, being subversive and stuff, like it's still a cautionary tale that can't be helped. So it's interesting. Yeah. I feel like no matter how much you play with the subject matter, you're going to end up saying, you know, what the story wants to say. But I can read his like page about this movie if you want.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, you can just tell me to stop if it's too long, but I just have a page in front of me.
Okay.
He says, this civilization is in crisis.
Okay, it's too long. You can stop.
Okay.
Lord Wolfshields. Let him read.
Yeah, he says, this civilization is in crisis. That is definitely not a new claim. The fact that Central and Eastern Europe are now returning to the fold of, quote, civilized states will only deepen this crisis. Perhaps the only thing we can do is fight about when it was that our civilization started to go downhill. I think J.K. Huysmans was right to consider the Renaissance to be that moment, for the Renaissance is the admission of the exhaustion of the impulses of Christianity. From that turning point, the spiritual world of the Gothic was progressively replaced by the ideology of consumption. Initially, this pragmatic shift was masked by the deification of human reason, but with the rise of the scientific technical revolution, civilization gradually threw off the mask so that today it stands before us naked, spiritually eviscerated, supremely destructive, full of ruthless economic interests. We should look at the classic schema, i.e. formless raw materials wrested from nature plus human reason equals a perfect product beneficial to mankind, and turn it the other way around, i.e. perfect material beneficial not only to mankind plus human destruction equals unnecessary waste for the life of nature. The struggle for domination over nature, announced at the time of the Renaissance, could end in no other way. Victory or defeat in this struggle have the same consequences, the end of this destructive civilization. Every civilization that feels its fall approach goes back to its beginnings to see whether the myths on which it is built might not bear some new interpretation that could give it a new impulse and avert the imminent catastrophe. The Faust myth is one of the key myths of this civilization. It has numberless interpretations. The Faust lesson, as I want to call my film, is intended as one of these interpretational returns. In my opinion, Faust is one of the fundamental archetypal morphological situations just as much for the single person, the individual, as for the community, civilization. Each person is one day faced with a dilemma: to live his life in conformity with the vague promise of an institutional, quote, happiness, or else rebel and take a path in the opposite direction from civilization, and to do so without taking the consequences into account. This second choice always leads to an individual fall. The first to the fall of humanity as such. But perhaps it is the opposite. Not that this ambivalence changes anything about the tragedy of human destiny, but the Faust lesson will not be a film a la These, aka it's not going to be like, a straight up thesis, like he's telling you what to think. On the contrary, as in Alice, I want to give free passage to unconscious interpretations because I have much greater faith in inner steering than in outer form and structure. In today's postmodernist era, this romantic faith may seem an anachronism, but somebody has to carry it across this neoclassicist, neoconservative, eclectic time before a new romanticism can take shape.
Okay. So are you saying that he was a damn dirty communist, or what are you trying to say? What was going on there?
That's what he said. You think that makes? You think that's communist?
Well, I guess he seems. I don't know. I guess I didn't fully understand what.
I like that he said that, like, the story of Faust this can be interpreted in many different ways, and it can also be applied to the individual and or like civilizations as a whole, or whatever word he used. I forgot, but.
Yeah, he's got a weird energy. He doesn't seem particularly, communistic to me, though. I get it. I totally get it. He's kind of weird to me. He's in like this weird Freudian headspace most of the time, from what I can tell, which is, subversive in a sense. And
I didn't get any political like vibes from.
Well, I mean, he was. All. I mean, like from what I kind of. Okay, yeah, from the movie, yeah, no, the movie was just like, it was like a bad like South Park.
It so was not. Oh my
gosh. Yeah. Did you know now? Did you know that the same guy does all the voices in the English dub?
What? Does he?
Yeah. It's one guy who does all the voices.
The one that I watched?
That is very South Park. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and I'm just like, when I was watching it, it was very strange. It was like they were doing like like all the voice. Yeah,
I normally don't like dubs. Like I would rather read subtitles, but I actually really enjoyed this one. Like it didn't bother me. But it was the one that he had linked. So I don't know which one you watched. Was there more than one, or?
I think you both watched the same version. It's the only dub
I've
seen. But yeah, you're right. It does seem like it's the same guy doing the same voices, which does feel very South Park. And there is some like weird hijinks that go on for way too long that are very like Looney Tunes, South Park.
Yeah, I was like, that scene with Joker like summoning and sending away the demon. That was like,
that was great.
To me, that was like rivaling. That was rivaling the scene in They Live, where the black guy and the white guy are like punching each other in the face in the alley. I was like, God.
There were some very weird elements to this movie, but I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought that the story was well done in a modern way. I loved the sound effects. Like they were just awesome. I mean, like every little chewing or like if there's like a smudge of clay or paint, it's like you hear this gooey sound, and it's like it's just so. To me, it sort of reminded me a little bit of David Lynch, just because of how he does his sounds and his scores and stuff. But in a good way, and then the sets, like how long did it take to make this? I mean, there's the claymation and then the puppets and everything. It's just like you don't see sets like that anymore. It's all just CGI, you know? So I thought just the creativity behind it was super impressive.
Yeah.
And that claymation had to take forever. So
yeah, that's a very tedious art form for sure. And then it really lends his normal style really lends itself to this film because he's very grounded. He's always using objects. He has a lot to say about the like life of an object and all the things it's been through. And he's always using objects he like knows and touches. He's very interested in touch, like tactility. So everything's very grounded. Nothing feels fake, and it really plays well because it all feels fake. You know what I mean? Like it's all like a set in a sense.
Yeah.
I guess my problem with it was that like I felt no emotional investment in anything that was going on. Like I
really?
didn't. Yeah.
I thought it was great. I mean, from the beginning, like it's like this guy who's like a working class dude. I think a lot of people could relate to because he's just kind of got this going through the motions through life sort of attitude. Like he walks into his apartment or whatever building he lives in, he steps in like a pile of feces. That's like one of the first things that happens. And he's just
and then he takes off his shoe,
he's like
and
scraping
then, like,
off his
right
shoe, and then he's like, I gotta make this random sandwich, and then he's like, hey, here's an egg, and then just how he
so like the egg thing, like so apparently like I guess like the egg symbolizes the soul in like ancient pagan like beliefs or whatever, like so the empty egg is like like it doesn't have a soul, or I don't know, it's what sort of symbolism was going on there.
I'd say it's like alchemical for like prime material, like the start of something, the birth of something, basically.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. See, the thing about a symbolism, what I think is really cool about this film is it's always there, and doesn't even like you start to wonder what he's trying to say, which is exactly what he wants you to do. And then sometimes it feels like it's inconsistent, which just makes you keep questioning it. And, you know, it makes you wonder like what exactly is happening. And he's just, I think, trying to sort of stimulate the audience to actually think through what he's trying to say instead of like tell them what to think.
I don't know.
He does that with images.
It came across to me like this dude, like he makes short films and he just has like ideas, like visual ideas that he just wanted to put in a movie somehow that doesn't even really make any sense. Like the scene where he's at the restaurant and he starts drilling down into the table and like alcohol starts coming out of the table. It's like, what even is any of this? I think it just strikes me as like he had like this idea in his head for a visual and he just wanted to kind of work it into a movie somehow.
I didn't see that at all. I saw that as like this is him taking part in those earthly pleasures. He's like, it's like as soon as he gets the idea of, I think I'd like a glass of wine, and he's about to get up to leave, the guy that's working there, that's kind of, you see him numerous times throughout the film, and it's almost like he's sort of working in a alliance with Mephistopheles, or however you say his name, and then he's like, wait a second, it's like almost like he was reading his mind that he wanted this, and then he's like, here you go, have this random glass of wine that just comes out of this table like a fountain.
Yeah. See, she gets it.
Yeah,
And then, like, I
yeah.
love the parts where he was like, it's like he turns into a puppet, and then when that scene where it's like he removes the head and he's like, wait a second, he's like confused about how it was stuck onto him. It's almost like he was questioning his role in all this, like his like free will versus fate sort of contemplation that people have, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into that stuff, but I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we can talk about the free will thing, but I just want to say, because that's a huge theme, I think, and it's kind of that's why I think the symbolism's mixed on purpose, and why I think that's neat. But Wolfie can say all he wants, but when we were watching this, the first time the puppets came down and the hands reached down and they were shaking the sheet of metal and like making that thunder that thunder sound,
Yes.
Wolf Shield went, what's that supposed to be? Like a supernatural being, like a god or something? I'm like, yes, see, that's what the movie's doing. It's making you ask these things that it doesn't explicitly tell you.
I mean, like, okay, sure, but like, I'm asking it, but then like, I mean, okay, like, okay, so everybody has like their strings, and everybody's like doesn't have free will, so then like, okay, cool story, bro. I don't know, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to take away from that.
Yeah.
Well, he could have made his like it's like he had his destiny, but he also had something to work with within that. Like there was that moment where he was like praying to the image of Jesus, and he could have redeemed himself, and then he allowed himself to be distracted by the woman that was actually some little demon devil guy, you know, dressed up as a woman. That part was super weird, but
yeah, I was like, oh, I forgot about this part.
I was like, okay, this part's really odd. I could have done.
Like,
I get what's like, it's like a temptation sort of thing,
and then put a little mustache above the hole.
Oh god,
that part was actually pretty funny.
It was like, I was like, what is happening here? But it was.
Yeah, I think
definitely interesting. It was original. Let's just say that it was never been done before.
Yeah, I think he's trying to make everything feel disgusting. Like whenever somebody's eating, you get like a close up of their mouth, and the meal that they're eating looks disgusting. And
he has, and it has like these loud like noises, you know, like mouth noises and weird.
Yeah, he goes down into the pit and with the puppet, and it's supposed to feel like disgusting. It's like the fallen world in a sense, and I think it portrays that pretty well.
I guess my biggest issue is that it just seems like a real like ripoff of Revenge of the Sith, you know? It's like about a guy who sells his soul to the devil, and then like he's got like, it's like, oh, his whole life is being controlled by this outer force, you know? Does he really have free will? And he kills
Faust
younglings. He kills
Faust
younglings.
Came first. Maybe Revenge of the Sith.
It's an annoying Jar Jar Binks character. I mean, it's just a complete ripoff of Revenge of the Sith, really.
No, Revenge of the Sith ripped off Faust. This was a play long before.
It's one of those pre-remakes, you know, like when they remake a movie, like, but it was like before.
Yeah, of course. That makes so much sense.
That makes total sense. But I'm just like taken aback by how much sense that made.
Yeah, but the Schmunkmeyer is really great as in the sense that like you're kind of tracing back film history to this obscure Czechoslovakian dude, but not that far. And a lot of people like Tim Burton and Terry Gilliam and David Lynch have all said they're influenced by him. So it's a really neat like sort of source where like so much creative energy has come from. So like if it does feel familiar, like Terry Gilliam, I think in particular with like the stop motion stuff, and movies like Brazil, I think they feel very much like a Schmunkmeyer movie.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't know about Star Wars. That's
I think Lord of Wolfshield just wants to keep talking about the prequels.
No, we can. That's fine. I don't care.
No, I was being
I
stupid.
care.
Okay. No, I do think there was some interesting visuals though, and it. I think that's really the only reason I gave it a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 fedoras. I really like particularly the visual of like the guy whose head is popping out of the floorboard. You can see that in the picture right there. That yes, this picture was. Did I explain that Senor Lindbergh drew this? Did I say that before?
I don't know, but I did draw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good.
drawing.
But that's a really cool scene because it's like he like it's the same actor who plays Faust, whose head is there, who is Mephistopheles, but like when he's speaking, it's like they like stop motioned his mouth.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's kind of like claymation or whatever, just the way he's talking. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it
And
was
like
awesome.
like yes, different like claymation stuff was very cool also. Like he's like trying to kill the youngling, that he decides to randomly do some like judo voodoo for no reason and make like a golem.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
and then he kills it and he's like smushing the clay in, but the hands and legs are still kind of like moving around. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is a cool scene. I don't know what else to say about that. It's I could talk. Gee, what? I think that scene's pretty cool because like his face forms on. It's like the baby, then his face, and then it turns into a skeleton, like it's mocking him before he beats it in.
Yeah.
So it's like he can't. So you can't reach immortality on your own free will. You know what I'm saying? And then he summons the devils for lack. You know what I mean? And essentially, he ends up learning the same exact thing from that. Like, not a good move from my limited
It wasn't what
knowledge.
he thought it would be.
No. So
Yeah.
some of the dialogue in those scenes are from Marlowe's Faust, and those, in my opinion, are some of the best scenes. You know what I mean? But
Was the dialogue where the jester was like, what was the line where he's like, I'll run and fly and try not to fart, or what was that line?
yeah, I don't think that's it.
That wasn't from Marlowe. That wasn't from Gautier or whatever. What's that German guy? How do you pronounce that?
Goethe.
It's definitely
Goethe,
Goethe. Yeah,
Gautier. I think that's the guy. That's the guy who sings
Goethe,
like
yeah.
who sings somebody I used to know or whatever. No.
He wrote that play and that song, and
It's just a all-around Renaissance man.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool. Some of the elements from that old story really, come in a unique way. Like right at the beginning, when the supernatural stuff starts to happen, an angel and a devil come in, and they both just stand in front of Faust, and they both make their case, and then he makes his choice, and that happens in the play. But it's just neat how it's kind of just, I don't know. I like how detached and impersonal so much of this feels. I think that's on purpose. I think there's a lot of statements throughout the film being made about free will and like the soul in a very like archaic
what are the
way.
statements being made?
So the Faust story, like even the old versions, Goethe couldn't catch a break. He wrote a book about a sad person and people started killing themselves. Then he wrote a story about this Faust struggle and people started becoming Satanists. So he can't catch a break. But this story is interpreted by Satanists and Christians, and a lot of people even kind of throw like a Calvinist spin on it, where you're either predestined for heaven or you're predestined for hell. I don't really go in for that, but there's definitely in this iteration like that vibe where Schrunkmeyer seems like he's being really cynical. Like almost everybody's gonna go through these motions, make the same wrong choices, and basically go to hell. So it's very cynical, which is like I don't really prescribe to, but it's throughout the whole thing there's like that sort of question of predestiny. Do these characters have like control over themselves or not? Because they get attached to puppet strings, or he's literally reading from the script at one point while drinking a beer, while he's talking to Mephistopheles.
Yeah, but it definitely seems like he doesn't have any free will in it at all, ever, though.
There are scenes that make it seem like they do, like when he does chase that demon disguised as an angel off. The hands literally let go of I don't know what you would call that, the marionette, the thing in the picture. The hand lets go of the wooden rod thing, and the Faust and the little demon run off. They just kind of run around without the hand controlling them. So there's a lot of like every sort of iteration of, is there a hand controlling them? Are they a puppet right now?
Yeah, but he had the strings on him when he was doing the selling his soul to the devil bit.
That's true. Yeah. So that's pretty cynical.
But he didn't. I don't think he did when he could have prayed to the image of Jesus.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that was like a big moment where, okay, this is the moment that he does have free will of, like, he could try to redeem himself if he had enough self-discipline to not be lured away by temptation, and he didn't have the self-discipline. So it was more of like a matter of how strong his will was, and it wasn't strong enough.
Oh yeah, I like that too. I like that interpretation. It makes the whole thing feel less cynical, though. I think he likes.
That's how I interpreted it when I was watching it.
No, then then he runs off. He uses his free will poorly, but I do think Schwenke's ultimately pretty cynical, but I like that. That's why I can like this movie. I've liked this movie for a long time, even when I had
this was a movie you showed your girlfriend pretty early on, right? To kind of
Oh yeah, just to let her know which
this is what you're getting into.
Yeah, exactly. You got to break out the big guns.
That's how you woo the lady. You show them these type of
And then
movies.
she ended up being in one of your awesome movies.
And she's also in, I think she's also in like another one, The Bell or something. The Ring of the Bell. Wasn't she in that one also?
She is. Yep.
She did a great job in that one too, by the way.
Yeah, I love that scene when she's like walking back and forth with the bells, the gong in the background.
Yeah, that was
very
actually
cool, very cinematic shot there.
That was actually her idea. She's kind of like really smart and stuff. Schwenke, our friend Schwenke here, his wife, who's now, passed, rest in peace. She actually plays a large role in a lot of the productions of his videos. I don't know if you remember, if you look at the weird like Czech posters for his movies, they're all made by her. And if you look at that scene where all the weird demons, they're kind of like the super scary, this is, what would you call it? Just the torments of hell. And those are kind of rolling at him and cornering him in to one side of the room. Those were all painted by her too. So that's pretty cool. Those are like relationship goals, Right. Working together and all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It's always cool. I always like seeing, husband-wife duos and
that's sweet. I love it.
Movie making.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh wait, I know I'm not a award-winning filmmaker, but do I get to rate the film?
Yes. How many out of 10 fedoras would you give it?
I give it 8.
8 out of 10 fedoras. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
I'm still at 3 out of 10 fedoras. The second time I watched it, like I kind of understood it a little bit more, but it also kind of made me more angry.
Well, you liked it enough to watch it twice.
That's true.
That says something.
I did, it was interesting, but it's very frustrating also. Yeah.
The seed is planted. He's going to start making mystic shorts. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I have one that
Mystic fedoras.
Ooh.
I want to make one where it's like Plato's allegory of the cave, but like Tarantino style. I don't know. It's going to be kind of dumb, but yeah.
I think it sounds great. I think you should definitely enter that in the next WAC film contest so I can beat you.
Oh no.
I give it 13 out of 10, just
Oh,
to
dang.
kind of offset your ranking there. No, I'll give it a 10. I don't know if I'm allowed to rank the movie.
Yes, of course you are.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna give it a 10 just to kind of, if anyone wants to do the math and find how much that adds up to.
You should have done like 17 out of 10. So
Yeah.
So then we're both giving it 10 out of 10 or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not very good at math.
So yeah, do you guys have any final closing thoughts on the movie then?
Well, I'll say that this is probably the most confusing conversation for anybody to watch on stream ever. I would say I'd highly recommend it. There's a dubbed version and a subtitled version, and they're both on YouTube. I think if you watch it, you will come away from it understanding, how movies are made a little bit better. How you can like make a statement with just an image, and he does it in a pretty like lo-fi independent way. You have someone shaking a sheet of metal and you go, oh, is that God? It's pretty cool. So I'd recommend it if you want to. And I think it's the sort of movie that makes people want to make movies. Like, I think Terry Gilliam and Tim Burton and stuff are pretty big, examples of how that happens.
I think
the
rule of thumb generally for people is if I don't like something, that probably means that it's a good movie you should watch.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
It's definitely interesting, and if the story of Faust interests you, or like he was saying, movie making or any of these things, how I think you would find it interesting. So, yeah. Watch the movie.
All right. So is that have you closed up? Is that your final thoughts then on it?
Yeah, I could like go off and keep talking about it, but
I mean, if you want, yeah, that's cool.
No, it's all good. That's what my final thoughts. What are your final thoughts, Wolf Shield?
Oh boy. Well,
just so everyone knows to go watch it.
I mean, if you're debating whether you want to watch Faust or Revenge of the Sith, obviously
I knew it.
You know which one
I knew you were gonna say
I
that.
would recommend you go see.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I definitely think it's worth watching to branch out and to see different film styles outside of just sort of the mainstream sort of storytelling and whatnot.
Yeah, and it's a foreign film. Any foreign film from like Eastern Europe or like Russia is weird in a way completely different to like what most people think a foreign film is. Like, this is not a French film. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not doing any of the like airy, wistful stuff. It's more crazy. So if you're looking for,
yeah, you hate French films from what I understand, right?
Yeah, typically. Yeah, there's like one I like. So
I don't think I've ever watched a French film, to be honest.
That's another story, but I think every time someone recommends me a French film, I like look it up and I go, okay, it's gonna be different this time. And then every time I get burned, so they're just not for me. But like a lot of stuff.
I'm sorry, go on.
A lot of stuff that's come out of like Czechoslovakia, oddly enough, I really like. Jiri Barta is another one. Jiri Trinka. I'm saying all these names wrong, but they do stop motion stuff too. All this like puppetry stuff is very traditional in that area. So it's kind of a continuation of that. But yeah, I would. It's a nice little subgenre of music to check out in itself. Anyway, let's do the movie trivia.
All right, the big movie showdown between two award-winning filmmakers. This is the big one, folks.
Oh dear.
Okay, so now Hyrith, did you want to read the questions, Hyrith, like you did last
Sure.
time?
Sure.
So we'll just start off where we started off last time. Like, oh geez, where is? So this was this. In what movie did Sidney Poitier? That was the first question after our last question from last time we did it. So we'll just start.
So
from
we're
number
going with
9.
that one.
Yep.
Okay. So who's going first?
Who wants to go first? Should I go first or should Lindbergh go first? I'll go first. That's
Okay. In what movie did Sidney Poitier say? Poitier say, "They call me Mr. Tibbs"? Was it A Patch of Blue, A Raisin in the Sun, No Way Out, In the Heat of the Night?
Oof. That's a famous. That's because they parody that line in The Lion King. They call me Mr. Pig or whatever, right? But I don't know I don't remember where it came from. I'm gonna go with In the Heat of the Night. No,
You got it.
I did get it right. Nice.
Oh, I was gonna guess that so much. That was gonna be my
I didn't know
answer
any
too.
I couldn't even pronounce that name right. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even know the line. I was reading it wrong. I was reading like, "I'm calling Mr. Tibbs." Like I don't know who that is. So.
All right, Mystic Shorts. We have in The Wizard of Oz, 1939. What was used to simulate snow during the poppy scene? Was it coconut flakes, corn flakes, asbestos, powdered sugar?
Well, don't click it. But the only time I've ever heard anyone talk about it, they said it was asbestos, which is probably some sort of cockamamie rumor, like the midget. I mean, the little person.
The midget
being hung.
who's like you can see hanging in the background.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. But that's all I've heard. If it was powdered sugar, you'd think you'd see it all sugary on them. I've gotten powdered sugar on myself before.
Mm-hmm.
And cornflakes, you'd notice. Coconut flakes is like it's either coconut flakes or asbestos, and I'm gonna go with the asbestos.
Oh, you got it right. Nice.
See, deduction.
Yes.
All right. Next question.
Next question for me. Uh-oh.
For Lord Wolfshield, which film earned Stanley Kubrick a Razzie nomination for Worst Director? Was it 2001, A Space Odyssey, Eyes Wide Shut, Spartacus, or The Shining?
Oh, man. Oof. Oh, man. I think it's I think it's The Shining. What do you mean, no?
Click it.
You don't know.
You gotta click it. That's it.
Yeah. Well, don't tell me to click. We're in a contest, bro.
I was trying to.
You were trying to reverse psychology.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Stick Shorts. What is the lifespan of a replicant in Blade Runner? Is it 12 years, 16 years, 4 years, or 8 years?
Oh, can I call on a lifeline?
No.
Okay. Yeah, gee, it's been too long since I've seen it. I'm gonna just guess and say 12 years. I'm wrong.
No. Ooh, you suck.
That's okay.
Well, what was it?
It's 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem very efficient.
That doesn't. Well, I mean, it didn't seem like long enough, you know?
I guess it's to prevent them from having enough time to develop complex human emotions.
I would have guessed 8, but you know.
I would think good AI, you're gonna get into that emotional territory even quicker than that.
Yeah, but then they
True.
can start like an uprising or whatever.
True. It's too short, Yuffie says in the chat, so we gotta rewrite the movie.
Yes.
Okay, so What are we doing? Another one? Because you've got
Yeah.
two. Okay. Okay.
I got 2 and he's got 1, so one last round.
All right. So, Wolf Shield. What kind
Yes.
of animal attacks Damien's car in The Omen? Is it lions, ostriches, baboons, or hyenas?
Ooh, I was just watching this. I just watched this movie, but like I stopped pretty quick, so I didn't get to this scene because I'd never seen the original. I'd only seen the remake, so I have no idea. I'm thinking either baboons or hyenas. I'm gonna go. Yeah. Which one? Oh no! It must be
Which one's-
I should have gone with baboons.
It
dang
was
it.
baboons.
Oh.
All right, Mystic Shores.
So you're still in the.
I'm good. I've got this.
What are
I
we?
haven't seen
What
any
are
of these
we?
movies. Okay.
If
we
he
both
gets this one, then you'll be in a tie, and then we'll have a tiebreaker.
No, actually, I think we both got 1, and we both lost 1. Or
You've gotten 2.
Okay, and he got 2 wrong. Oh, geez, Louise. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah. This is we both got 2, and we both lost 1. So we're both 2 for 2, I think.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so Mystic Shorts. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, what chases Indy out of the temple of Chachapoyan warriors? Is it the Chachapoyan warriors, or however you say that? Panthers, giant rolling boulder, or snakes?
It's so tempting to just click the first one, but don't. I'm gonna say it's the giant rolling boulder.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
I feel like they just gave that away. That's pretty. It's pretty iconic. The boulder scene. It's the only scene I remember.
I'm so confused. Let me go back a second.
Are you guys tied, or?
Let's see here.
I thought that means you guys.
Okay, we both got our first question right. Then we both got our second. No. I got 1 right and he got 1 wrong, and then I got 1 wrong and he got 1 right. So we're both tied still. So this is like round 4, and we're both tied still.
Okay, so Wolf Shield.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, because I did start it. Yes.
Okay. What actor played the school principal in E.T. only to have his scene cut when Spielberg decided that his presence would be too distracting? Was it Marlon Brando, Woody Allen, Harrison Ford, or Burt Lancaster?
Oh my goodness. I have no idea. I'm gonna go with I got it. And then of course this is just a giving question. What movie popularized the phrase "May the Force be with you"? Star Wars, so of course.
So you're still tied.
So we're still tied. All right, number 17 or round 5, I guess.
In Ghostbusters, what prompts Dr. Peter Venkman to say, "Well, there's something you don't see every day"? Is it the Keymaster, Gozer the Gozer? Yeah, Gozer the Gozerian, Zool, or Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man?
I think it's the Stay Puffed. Yeah. Woo.
Gosh, you guys are.
And then he's gonna get another gibby.
That's right. Don't talk about Fight Club.
I don't even need to read the question.
What's the first rule you don't talk about? So yeah, that was an easy round 6.
Or whatever. Yeah, I don't even know what round this is. Okay, Lord Wolf Shield. What happens to anyone who watches the videotape in The Ring? Oh, really?
Yeah,
They can't. They
worst
die.
trivia ever.
This is kind of easy.
Mystic Shorts. In Die Hard, how does John McClane signal Officer Powell that something is wrong at Nakatomi Plaza? Makes a big
Oh.
sign, drops a dead body on his car, blows up part of the building, or flashes the lights.
Does he? I haven't seen this movie. Does he flash the lights?
So your final answer?
Yeah, it seems practical.
Okay,
you
Lord
loser.
Wolfshield.
Woo!
Lord Wolfshield
The
wins
award-winning
that one.
filmmaker is back on top.
But it was a good game.
job.
Good game.
It was good. All right. Well, thank you for coming on, Mr. Burgermeister.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This was fun.
Yeah, thanks for picking that movie. I enjoyed it. I really liked it a lot. So
Cool. I'll send you guys the playlist of all the short films too, because I think you'll like those a lot as well.
yeah. And if you have a link for the Alice in Wonderland, yes.
Ooh. Yeah, I'll
please.
try to find it. Cool.
That would
Well,
be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you guys. I'll have to just like come on again sometime. I enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah, for sure. It was great having you on, bud.
Tell
And
people where they can find your stuff.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, well, if you look up Mystic Shorts on Twitter, I'm there. And then that should work on YouTube too. But my name's Joshua Lindbergh. That might work as well. And you can find my short films. There's like 15 of them up.
Wow,
see.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and Lindbergh and I were kind of discussing the idea of collaborating on a film at some point.
Nice. Would love to see that.
Yeah,
that's going to be a trip for sure.
I think he's rethinking his decision.
No.
Yeah, but I think we both kind of have, our own sort of sensibilities, and if we could find something that kind of has that Venn diagram overlap, I think we could come up with something pretty cool, though we haven't, thought of anything specific. But yeah, that'd be really cool to do that at some point.
That would be awesome. I'm all about the collaborations. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I'm sure I'm not alone in that.
Yeah, we're trying to get like time and place to be in it, and yeah, it'll be
nice.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty.
We'll
so
do like we'll kind of go for the Faust vibe, I think.
Yeah, I think we were thinking some sort of like fairy tale type, like something.
I thought you were gonna
Old-timey
say
fairy
Revenge
tale.
of the Sith, like fan fiction kind of.
Yes. We gotta
New
like our
interpretation.
it'll just be like a 10-minute like lightsaber duel of us like like the Star Wars kid, where we're just like hacking at each other with fake lightsabers, and like we add the Star Wars noises and everything. Oh, that'd be awesome.
And then we turn to the camera and we go, "Do we have free will?"
But seriously, I do think it's an interesting question of whether Anakin had free will in Revenge of the Sith, because he's got the prophecy, there's the prophecy about like, oh, he's going to bring balance to the Force. And he also has had this, the Palpatine guy who's been like manipulating him for like the whole time, since he was a kid and everything. I think it's really on the same level as Faust. I have to say.
No. I have to disagree.
Yeah.
Cool story, bro.
All righty. Any final words, my friends?
Thank you for having me as your co-host. It's been fun, and thank you for being our guest.
Well, thank you very kindly.
Yeah. It was a blast.
Yes, it's great to have you on, Mr. Lindbergh, and great to have you back, Hyrith. And as they say in Canada, peace out.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.